Hi everybody, this is Alchemist 2 and I'm back again with another book review. I just read Peter Woloven, Hidden Life of Trees. And of course the subtitle is What They Feel, How They Communicate, and Discoveries from a Secret World. And being a lover of nature and all things involved with it, I am absolutely fascinated by plant life, and I have been ever since I was small. Because scientists had always said, well, certain plants have emotions and feelings, and they respond. For instance, they were talking about, I forget what kind of ivy it was, but it had a response where it would, if it was touched, it would curl up its leaves in defense. But it was talking here about the forest itself, and that the forest is a network, and the trees actually share their nutrients with their comrades, even the comrades that would usurp their territory. So they help their competition. I thought that's intriguing. And when you see a tree stump is not dead because the nutrients will go into that. It also speaks of street trees and how they survive and why their roots will grow into water pipes and whatnot. And they communicate as well. They don't communicate like we do, but they communicate via scent. And scent travels 1/4 of every so many, I forget how many kilometers. It's super, super slow. But they do things very deliberately. And it reminded me of Lord of the Rings and the tree people and how they speak and how they live. They do things very what would seem to a human being cumbersomely, but that's not the right adjective I want to use. They go about things precisely, meticulously, very slowly, just at a kind of I would say the pace would be, if you're looking at a piece of music, it would be largo. I'm not really taking my time. I'm not really worried about things that are going on around me. I'm just going about it at my own pace, and that's what trees are. They are an example to us all, I think. And it's a beautiful book. It's wonderfully written. I was absolutely fascinated all the way through. I could not put it down. Had I not been at work, I probably would have sat down with this book and finished it in a day. It's that good. It is fascinating. It is a book that speaks of just how trees themselves, they're all different, and they all go about growing in different manners, and you think, how on earth do they know how to do this? And he explains that, and he explains how nature helps itself in a way, but fungi in and of themselves they're kind of, what's the word? They are saboteurs, and yeah, it's really, you think, ooh, they are savage. But they have a better way of networking than trees do. They just go about it in kind of an underhanded way, but that's just the way that spores are. Woloven's depiction is so compelling, you cannot stop reading. You just want to keep learning more and more. And and he states that some trees can actually live for years because they go about life in such a laid-back fashion. I thought, you know what? A lot of us could definitely take some pointers, because I think a lot of us, and this is how Europe lives, a lot of Europeans live this way, but they have a siesta, they have they have more of a relaxed way of life, and they even have maternity leaves that are longer than what we have here in America, especially Russia. Russia has 3 years. Since I have friends in Russia, they told me about that. What? That's unbelievable. we should have that here. It should be at least enough time for the mother and child to become bonded. In fact, it speaks about tree families in here in that way. And sometimes the trees are, the children are supposed to thrive on their own. Well, when the mother or parents die, they actually will benefit from that. The trees can live forever, and it'll explain a tree that's in a period of waiting versus a tree that's in a period of growth, and a canopy, why the canopy is shaped the way it is for birds. And you think, yes, they adapt, they evolve, and they do this in a very calculated way, and it's just incredible. It really is. Nature is awesome. I never cease to be amazed by how nature works. And it's only a few hundred pages, it's 200 something pages. Well, with the acknowledgments itself, it's 250 something. And his sightings are very interesting as well. At the back flap, I'm actually going to talk about Mr. Woloven a little bit. He's a forester, so it's kind of ironic in a way. It says he spent over 20 years working for the Forestry Commission in Germany before leaving to put his ideas about ecology into practice. He now runs an environmentally friendly woodland where he works for the return of primeval forests. He is the author of numerous books about trees, and Mr. Flannery, he did the foreword. He's a scientist, explorer, and conservationist. He is a leading writer on climate change. His books include Atmosphere of Hope and The Weathermaker. I've read Atmosphere of Hope. I remember that he sent Mr. Flannery. Sounded very, very familiar. The chapter titles in and of themselves are even very intriguing. It's one being. I mean, I was remembering something that Greg Braden spoke of in his lectures. He was speaking about in the desert there's sage. Now looking at sage, you would think they're all different plants. It's not so, because sage itself is a network, and it's all one plant. I thought, what? And I believe if human beings, we're all different. I mean, we're different plants in and of ourselves. We're different beings, but we're all one organism. We have to help each other. And I feel like when we come to that realization, it will be a much healthier, safer, more pleasant place in which to live, work, and thrive. But a lot of people aren't really open to that idea. That's all like me, mine, myself. It's all about what happens to me, and you can't live your life that way. Yeah, well, sure, it's all about survival of the fittest, but we got to help each other out, man. It's just, we're going to kill each other if we're not careful. And I hope it never comes to that, but this book is absolutely revolutionary, and I've always had that feeling about trees in and of themselves, and that's why I've been so attracted to them, especially oaks, because oaks are they're a majestic tree, and you've got your apple and your cherries. They're blossoming trees that are absolutely beautiful. He talks about that too, how trees are very intelligent beings. He says that they will, when they're in reproductive stage, they make their plants look more appealing to bees, and a certain plant will be a flower, a certain kind of part of the tree will be the male part of the tree, and then the female part of the tree will be in like another section of the tree, and the bees will come and pollinate it, not really knowing, well, I'm spreading the pollen to a female plant and fertilizing it and making it reproduce. And I thought, woo, that's very clever. It really is when you think about it. You think, whoa. But yeah, it was very revolutionary, and when I see trees in bloom, I'm going to be thinking about that now. I'm thinking, you know what you're doing. But it's just, I cannot cease to be just absolutely amazed and astonished and baffled and stunned at just how incredible nature truly is. And I'm absolutely just tickled pink that I picked it up. I had wanted to read this book forever. I had seen it on the shelves, and I thought, I gotta read this book because I love nature, of course, and I love plants. So it was a win-win. But beyond that, I really don't have that much else to say. But the grade itself it should be obvious. It's definitely 2 thumbs way up and 5 stars hands down. It's talks about this institute. Oh, there's an institute. It's the Suzuki. Oh, yes, the Suzuki Institute. It's the David Suzuki Institute. I'm just going to read a little bit about that before I close. But it was founded in 2010. It's to stimulate debate and action of environmental issues. Oh, yeah, I had heard of this. I remember when it actually was founded. The Institute and David Suzuki Foundation both work to advance awareness of environmental issues important to all Canadians. You see, that's what irritates me. I like Canadians for this reason, because they seem to have more of an environmental consciousness than the rest of the world. I don't know why, but people up in Canada, well, most of people in Canada, you've got people in Oregon that are like that, Washington State, because it seeps into that. But I think a lot of us are, those of us who are up north, as they say. I'm more of a southern northerner, like that makes any sense, but I feel like I'm part of that crowd. We invite you to support the activities. For more information, please contact us at David Suzuki Institute, 219-2211 West 4th Avenue, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Actually, it's BC. They say BC. V6K4S2, info@davidsuzukiinstitute.org, 604-742-2899, and 444.davidsuzukiinstitute.org. And it says checks can be made payable. Oh, so they accept donations. That's neat. See, I knew about them. I had known of them, but I didn't really know that they did that. So that's very, very reassuring that they have an institution that helps in that manner. I wanted to talk a little bit just about what's going on. What's going on in my life. I've been writing quite a bit. I'm doing illustrations. I'm going to be inking one that I've just finished. I'm going to be doing a fan art for my friend. I've got one arrow already done. I'm working on I already finished a fan fiction. Excuse me. We just completed that. It's already posted. I'm doing a script. It's Chimichanga. It's the Easter one, and I'm going to be doing one for 420, which, believe it or not, I had almost forgotten about this, but Super Troopers 2, which I am super, super excited about, comes out on 420 of this year, so yeah, I'm going to see it. Woohoo! Yeah, because I love the first one, but anyway, I'm excited. But it's one of the big movies that I'm going to see this year, other than, of course, I'm going to see Black Panther when it comes out. I'll do a review of that. Wrinkle in Time is no-brainer. Duh. Of course I'm going to see Wrinkle in Time. Red Sparrow. Yeah, I'm going to see Red Sparrow. I forget what else is coming up in March, but quite a few really good films are coming out in March alone. So it's going to be a very interesting month. A very interesting year, I should say. But I have to really pinch my pennies and watch when I'm spending. I'm doing really well with that, with the help that I'm getting. But I have 3 really big trips that I wish to take, and I'm gonna make it right for the Maryland trip that I botched up in 2016. That was past water on the bridge. So I'm making that right this year. I hope I can go to Tucson this year. If I can't, I can't. Hopefully my friend understands that. And then, of course, the last trip and I really hope that I could go, would be Israel. And I know a lot of people are thinking you're out of your mind, but I want to go just because I feel like I'm compelled. I feel like I'm not going to get another chance to go. Let's see. I don't know what else to say other than I'm really quite busy. I am going to be joining a knitting class. I am still going to the gym. Thinking about Zumba. Yeah, I'm thinking about going to Zumba. So I'm really getting myself out there. I'm getting myself out in the crowd and out in the public eye. I went to Bacon Fest. That was a blast. And Macaroni Fest is coming up, and I'm going to ask my advisor about that so I can go. The price isn't that bad. It's probably like it was for Bacon Fest. I had to pay, it says $25, but I know that doesn't include tax, so it's probably $27 like Bacon Fest was. But I thought, ooh, Mac Fest is coming back. I've never been. Woo, this looks good. But anywho, that's all I got to say. I hope everybody's doing well and that your new year is going so well as mine so far. So I will see you later. Live long, prosper. Ciao, Suzuki.